All right, hello folks. I hope you are ready for the Elden Rings because I am definitely ready for the Elden Rings. This is the Fan Expo demo at good old Fan Expo. Why am I saying that twice? But this is the Elden Ring demo that I ended up playing for the Switch 2 Tarnished Edition, I believe it's called. I don't know why it's called Tarnished Edition. I mean, I get it, it makes sense, but it just sounds bad. So obviously the game was running at, I have no idea what resolution, but it's kind of targeting 30 frames per second, and it is kind of getting there for the most part, but I'd say it can definitely be worked on. And I think obviously porting games is a very difficult thing. Not as much as, actually making a game in the first place, but obviously some consoles just don't like certain shaders or certain things and whatever. Anyways, one thing that I would like to mention is that I wasn't able to play this game in handheld mode. So there's that. I've only played in docked. Also, Limgrave. Whoa, big opening area. Anyways, let me tell you guys a bit of backstory about this specific playthrough. I've said it in a few videos, which obviously you've seen because you're subscribed, of course. But the main goal was for me to defeat Margit. That's what the representative said. After I said, it's been at least 3 days since I've played Elden Ring. And of course, at least 3 days in reality means 12 months. But you know what? Who am I to back down from a challenge? So I'm pleased to report that all of the controls are the exact same for Elden Ring here. However, the A and B buttons for confirm and select, obviously on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, the bottom button is used for select, and the rightmost button is used for cancel. Now, obviously, the rightmost button is used for select, and the bottom button is now used for cancel. So that's a bit of a change, but honestly, it's not bad at all. You get used to it in like 5 seconds. So since it has been absolutely forever since I've played Elden Ring, I kind of still have a general idea of where to go. I've seen like some speedruns. The representative there pointed out where I needed to go. I know there was a map. I think I pulled out the map, which is just obviously nothing showing on the map because I didn't actually get anything, but it's there. It's there. So running through, obviously two-handing the weapon. This is using one of the new classes that was in this new version. There was one more available, but I completely forget. I completely forget what weapons and items that specific class had. But this one has a shield and a pokey sword. I think, keyword I think, you are able to hold the shield and attack at the same time by like poking like right outside of the shield area. But yet again, I have no idea. Anyways, here is the grace where you get Torrent, right? Torrent, the horse. Shoutouts. And now obviously, as you just saw, it's because I was mashing B to go through the dialogue. I might have accidentally said no to Melina there. But I get the horse anyway, so there we go. So now that Torrent is in my possession, I'm just beelining it. I'm beelining it straight to Margit. I cannot fail this. This is the first demo of the day, first day of the expo. I'm going to be the first person to beat this guy. I'm going to be the first person to beat this guy before anyone else gets a chance to. So we pick up the golden seed there. Obviously, for those who don't know Elden Ring, I don't know why you're watching this necessarily. Or actually, you know what? You might be interested in the game, and I highly recommend. If you're not going to play it on Switch 2, highly recommend you play it anywhere. It's really great. Love the game. Obviously there, I'm just allocating my flasks to the correct amount because I don't have any magic except for like a little special move I can use with this weapon. So I want to put all of my healing flasks to healing flasks instead of healing magic. So now I think I'm just beelining it to Margit the Fell, which is obviously the first boss. If you guys are familiar with Elden Ring at all, you know just how much of a, I guess, skill check this boss is. But I've fought him at least 3 times. I'd like to think at least 3 times. So here we go. I'm going to go in there. I'm not going to fail. I was high-key nervous during this because obviously playing the game regularly, oh boo-hoo if I die. But now I only have 15 minutes to A, get content for you guys, and B, prove myself. So obviously I then go summon the little magic wizard man, and here is the fight. Now I don't really have much to say about this fight because yet again, I feel like it's been talked about to death at this point. But the frame rate, I must say, although it isn't 60 frames per second, I found especially in the boss area, which really is the area where it counts, is pretty good. Like it runs well. I'm just scared for the final DLC boss area. I'm not going to spoil it because it came out recently, but those who know the final boss of the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, you know how, that frame drops frames even on my NASA computer. And I say NASA computer, but for those who want specs, I think I have a Ryzen 5600X and a NVIDIA 3070 Ti or something like that, I think. But yeah, obviously, I'm playing it as safe as I can. Now, if I see any comments saying, "Oh, you didn't actually beat Margit, you used summons," I'm straight up, low key, I'm just gonna ban you. I find it so preposterous how people who play Elden Ring and other Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro kind of games are just like, "Oh, you didn't actually win because you used this option in the game that's available for everyone to use." It's like ego death. And speaking of ego death, that's what's going to happen to me if I lose against this boss. Now obviously you guys know because you've seen either the short or the long video where I talk about this more in depth, but Margit is such a fun boss to fight, a great first boss as well, and we're kind of jumping at me and this sorcerer lad who I have no idea of the lore of this guy, but you know what? That's all right. And so there we go. Almost down, Margit. Shout outs. I'm getting stressed rewatching this, but I must say, I just can't sing Elden Ring's praises enough. It is a fantastic game, and I'm very much looking forward to playing it again on the Switch 2. I do have confidence in whoever is developing the port for this, that they will see obviously the feedback and criticisms about this kind of demo and how the frame rate can't be the best at times. Like a stable 30 like this right now, I would have no problem with, right? But it's kind of like the Scarlet and Violet problem to a very, very lesser degree, where in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you could tell there was a fantastic game underneath all of that buggy mess, but the bugs and lag and all that just didn't make it enjoyable to play through. But I will say, visually, Elden Ring on Switch 2 looks amazing. Like I'm looking at it right now, I just cannot tell the difference between the PC version and the Switch version. I really can't. But there goes Margit. Margit goes down, and nothing else really happens except for me fighting the Tree Sentinel for a bit. So I'm just going to honestly cut up the gameplay until then. It's like a minute. I think I just go to the round table hold. Actually, unless you folks want to see the round table hold, I'm not going to cut it. I lied. And if you guys are wondering about, oh, maybe you should post this with no commentary, why? That's my question. That's my question. There's no good audio. There's no good audio to take here, or any sound stuffs like that, but it's there. It's there. The game looks fantastic. I do think that if the developers are going to work on frame rate, like adjustments to make it easier on the console, there are the controls. Look at my hands shaking. Oh my God. I was too locked in, but it's the exact same control scheme. You don't need to worry about that. But if I was the developers, I would say, let me take the game, put it into like 1080p resolution, and then try to crank the frame rate as high as I go, or reduce some of the lighting effects, reduce some of the grass. Elden Ring looks fantastic even on low settings on my computer, and as far as I could tell from a glance, this kind of looked like high settings Elden Ring, which is kind of crazy, but well, we'll see. Obviously, I'm not working on this project. I don't know the internals of it, but I do have confidence in the team, especially after hearing that there wasn't recording allowed by Bandai Namco at, I believe, Gamescom it was. It makes me feel that since I was allowed to record this here, it was either an updated version, probably not though. See there's the frame drop, the one big frame drop with the transparency effects in the rain I was talking about in my video, which I didn't realize the clip was there. But that's crazy. I end up dying to Tree Sentinel just because I'm goofing off at this point. I have confidence that the dev team will still be able to make a solid port out of this, and I'm really looking forward to it. Although I'm probably not looking forward to the final boss of the DLC because I will probably get owned. Yeah, I'll probably just get owned and the frames will lag and all that. But yeah, that's about it. That is about it. And I died. He didn't even get it because there was a lad walking by. Oh well. Whomp whomp.